Hi, everybody. This is Veteran Spotlight. I'm your host, Wayne Soares. What a great program we have for you today. My guest, an Army veteran of World War II. It's a pleasure to welcome Hovey Eordekian to the program. My friend, great to see you.
Happy to see you, too.
And we're right here in your home. Thank you for the hospitality.
Thank you.
This is a beautiful, beautiful home. You actually built and designed this yourself, right?
My daughter-in-law designed it and I built it.
And you built it.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful, and we're very privileged to be able to come here today for it. Hovey, you grew up in Watertown.
Right.
Very, very, very close-knit Armenian family.
Right.
You get drafted. Take us through that process, because you described to me before your mom and dad as angels.
There was nobody like my mother and father. I'll tell you one thing. I was very happy and proud that they came to the United States and gave me the opportunity to live in this great country.
You are going to the draft board. It's a very, very emotional moment for you with your mom. Take us through that. You go from Watertown, all the way to Arlington. Take us through that moment, my friend.
The night before, I went up to see my Aunt Mary, and I said goodbye to them. She had 3 daughters, Queenie, Anne and Helen, and my uncle Emmy. They used to call me Emmy, the uncle. And I said, I'm going to be going. They were crying and everything like that. I hope you come home. So the next day, it was time to go. And my father had some medical problems. He couldn't take me down there. So my mother says, I'll go. And I said, under one condition you're going to go. You're not going to cry, are you? And she said, I promise you I won't cry. So we get on, walk out of the house. She holds my hand, and we walk right by my grammar school, which was on the right, and my junior high school was on the left, and there was a field where I used to play baseball. And I said, I hope I'd be able to come back and see this again, you know, because I didn't know what I was getting into.
Sure.
So my mother held my hand, and the clank MBTA car came down, and we got into that car, and we went down towards Coolidge Square, where I used to go to the movies. And across the street was the bowling alley where I used to set up pins. In those days, they didn't have automatic pins to play. I used to get 10 cents a string.
Because you placed them. You had to place all the pins, yeah?
And then we went by the cemetery, Cambridge Cemetery, and then we went by the hospital, Cambridge Hospital. I'm looking over there. Charles River was right there. And I finally get to Harvard Square. You go down the tunnel, and all the people that were in the car get out there and get in it, go downstairs to the elevators to go into Boston. But I stayed on the car, and my mother's still holding my hands. And we get to Mass Avenue, and we stop at the what's the thing in the draft board?
The draft board.
And my mother and I get out of the car, and I go in and make my presentation, and I signed this paper and that paper, and the bus came, and they put us in that bus, and I looked out the window, and I saw my mother, and she had a handkerchief, and it was very emotional to me. And I'll never forget that.
No, it's a memory that you never, ever, ever forget.
Ever did.
It's a powerful memory. It's really a powerful memory. And
she held my hand from the beginning all the way to the draft board.
Yeah.
And she was a wonderful woman. I tell you, my father was just an angel.
Yeah, you said both of them. Yeah, both of them were angels, and had a pretty good son too. So that's a great part of it. You went to Fort Devens, right? Yeah. From right there to Fort, if you had to go through immunizations and things.
That's right.
And then you went out, I believe, to Fort Bliss for your basic training.
Yes, we landed I landed in Texas. We thought we were going to go to. We had our hot uniforms on, the wool uniforms, and we thought we were going to go to Alaska. And the first stop was naturally Chicopee. And a lot of guys got on the train. And then next thing we know, we were in Chicago, where I read about the cows and all that stuff in history, you know.
Sure.
And then we start going, and all of a sudden we're in Oklahoma. And I said, where are we going, Oklahoma?
But you had some members of your high school on one of the trains that you took, right?
We had 7 fellas that graduated from Watertown High School. And in addition to that 7 guys, there was a teacher. He was 25 years old, and he taught junior high school. And he was a smart guy, a tough Irishman, and he used to take care of us. He wanted to make sure we were taken care of.
Sure.
And he was a very nice man, and he protected us from everything.
That was it Captain Oric?
No, Captain Oric was the captain man. A wonderful man. He was from the Midwest. And he always said, I hope we get all you guys back home safe.
That was a great quote. Yes, yes, he really...
He was a wonderful man. And he was very concerned about the team. What happened was there was a lot of guys from Watertown. There were a lot of guys from Gloucester. They all stuck together. We all stuck together by ourselves. But he brought us together. And the way he did it, when we got to the Fort Bliss, he mixed all the guys up so that they know each other. And we really began to know each other because we wanted to protect each other.
To keep the cohesive unit together, yeah.
And it was a New England company. Everything, it was New England. Even the cadre were from Connecticut. And we were all New England company. And we were the 299th Ordnance Maintenance. We were like a machine shop on wheels. And we used to, repair all the problems that some of these vehicles had. And Patton was always interested in machines, and he didn't like the idea of having us fight like they did in World War II in the holes and what have you. And we were a mechanical outfit. That's why they couldn't stop Patton. Patton just kept on going, and Eisenhower said, slow down. And he wouldn't slow down. So eventually, when I went down to pick up some gas for the vehicles, no gas today. I said, what for? Eisenhower says, Third Army doesn't get any more gas. And that stopped us from moving.
Right.
So we stayed there. Patton, after a while, decided to slow down.
He got the message from Mike.
He got the message from Mike. The politicians told him to slow down.
Describe your, prior to, you land on Omaha Beach after the initial invasion, but prior to that, you spent a couple of weeks in the English Channel. You said the conditions were deplorable. They were really, really, really bad, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have any showers. And we waited in the channel before we landed in Normandy, and we had to wait until the water got down low so we could get the vehicles out of the ship. And there he was up on top of the hill, barking at you.
There's
Come
Patton.
on, you son of a bitches, let's get going. That's the way he used to talk, I'm telling you. He was a man's man.
What was you get off your LST? Did you land it on?
No, it was a regular ship.
A regular ship.
And we had all our vehicles on that ship.
You come onto the beach and you look up and you see General George Patton.
Yeah.
What's that feeling like for you? What was it like?
We said, who the hell is that son of a bitch? And they said it was Patton. And he's got his hand going like this, and he was waving us on. And that was the first time I ever saw him.
That was one of his signature moves, too.
That's his move.
Right?
Yeah.
And
if you want to see Patton, you always want to go to the front lines. You never saw him on the desk.
Is that right? You always go to the front lines.
Always go to the front.
He was fearless, wasn't he?
He was fearless.
Yeah.
He used to say, kill the son of a bitches before they kill you.
Really?
That was the saying.
Well, you told me in a previous conversation we had, you said you wouldn't be here without him, right?
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. You're absolutely right. And you know why? He knew every step that the Germans were doing, and they were scared of him. And they, uh-oh, Patton's coming. And he was respected. He did a lot of things that were wrong.
Right.
I understand that. And he was just a man's man, that's all. And he said, a pound of what was the thing? He had a very famous saying, sweat a little bit so you avoid all the blood later on. That was his saying.
Well.
And he said, kill those son of a bitches before they kill you.
That's great. General Patton,
That
right?
was General Patton.
General Patton. Were you ever afraid?
Absolutely. The time that I was really frightened, and I thought I was going to be gone, was about the fourth day I was in France, and we were going down through St. Lo, which is on the right-hand side, and it was destroyed completely. And we stopped at this town of Avaranches. It was right at the front of the Brittany. Anyway, so we stopped there, and all of a sudden, there was all kind of light that was flying out, and it was just like daylight. The Germans were going to try and split the First Army and the Third Army, and what happened was the P-38s were notified, and they wiped the German tanks right out. And the next day, kept on going. We were going towards Metz. We saw all these guys hanging out of the tanks, charred and everything like that. I didn't have a camera. I had my camera out to take pictures, plus the fact I didn't have the film in it. And anyways, as a young kid, seeing all that stuff, I said, what the hell are we getting into here? I mean, are we going to make it? And we did.
You shared two powerful memories with me before. One was the loss of your good friend Paul.
You want to know something? Paul, his name was Paul Masubian, and he was 2 years older than I was, and he was from Watertown. And he was the comedian of the outfit, and he used to imitate Hitler. And he used to make us laugh like hell. And he used to relax us. And Paul Masubian and 5 other guys went to repair a heavy artillery, and they stayed overnight because it got too dark, and they stayed in this building, and 5 of them were there. 3 of them got killed because they booby-trapped the building, and the other 2 made it to tell us the story. And when the captain went to look at the bodies, he came back and kept us in formation. He said, I never want to have this happen, but I'm going to tell you something. Paulie Masubian has been killed. Shayama was killed, and also another fellow, I don't know his name. John Balicki was the one that was saved because he stayed in a different part of the building, and he was able to tell what happened. At 1 o'clock in the morning, the building blew up, and he was killed. And we named Anvet's name after Paul Masubian.
You named the post after him.
Post
wow.
after him.
What a great tribute.
Yeah, great.
What a great tribute.
A wonderful kid. Just a wonderful kid.
Your second instance that you and I talked about before. You're in Weimar, Germany, and you're coming in with your troop, and you all of a sudden there's a smell coming.
We were going by, and all of a sudden we stopped at this place. It was the odor that was coming out of that place. We couldn't take it. It was a concentration camp, and when the wind was blowing, the odor almost made me vomit. And we wanted to go in to see what was going on inside, but they refused to let us go because they didn't know how we were going to take it. So we left. But that odor, I will never forget. Human body odor. And I can't understand how those German people stayed in that camp and did all the things that they did. I just don't understand it.
Camp was Buchenwald.
Buchenwald.
It was one of their first and largest that the Nazis had back in
I'm telling you, I'll never forget that smell.
You described to me before the guys that were in your troop. They were like the closeness. They were like brothers to you, right?
Absolutely. You know, today it's all, you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. But in our days, we didn't know what a Democrat was or a Republican. We were Americans.
America, right. Right.
And being America, we were united. And when you were united, you're a very strong, strong organization. And the thing that really impressed me a lot was Hollywood was selling
the war bonds, yeah.
War bonds, and they were feeding us at the USO, handing out food to us. And I'll never forget this thing. I had to leave, and I went through it's one of those things. And guess who was standing right in front of me? The most beautiful girl in the world. I don't know if I told you. Did I?
No.
Oh, it was.
Betty Hutton?
No, this is a girl that was did you ever see the green thing with John Wayne?
Maureen O'Hara.
Maureen O'Hara. Let me tell you something.
How's that for knowledge, huh?
I've got my plate.
Yeah.
And she's standing, going to give me my potatoes. And I'm standing and I'm looking at her, and I can't move. I just couldn't believe that it was Maureen O'Hara. And I'm looking at her, and then she says to me, "Can I help you, sir, soldier?" I said, yeah, you can. Honest to God, the most beautiful girl I ever saw in my life.
Which she was, and a very talented.
Talented.
Oh, my goodness.
That show that she did with John Wayne.
The Quiet Man.
That was the greatest show.
One of my favorites.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, absolutely. With John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, you had
Fitzgerald.
Barry Fitzgerald, Victor McLaughlin. Oh, yeah.
All those guys.
Ward Bond.
Oh. That was the greatest show. And I'll tell you,
great.
I'd see that show again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, directed by the great John Ford.
Yeah.
He was wonderful.
I'm telling you, if anybody wants to see a good movie, go see that picture, The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man. You and I are like Siskel and Ebert, the old show here. We're recommending movies and everything. Hovey, you get the end of the war comes. You're discharged.
Yeah.
Tell us the feeling. I mean, you just had to be beyond. You're going home. You come from a very close family. You're going home. What's your feeling?
Let me tell you something. When I got off the ship, I was weak as anything, and I had my duffel bag. I couldn't carry the duffel bag. I used to drag the duffel bag, and I got on my hands and knees and kissed the ground. And I said, "Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to come back." And I'm a very religious guy when it comes to the Lord. I'll tell you that right now. If it wasn't for the Lord, a couple of times in the situations, I said, "Lord, get me out of this thing here, and I swear I will be good fellow."
Yeah.
It happened about 5, 6 times, and I thank him very much for saving my life.
Well, amen to that. We're very happy that you're here.
And I'm telling you, you have no idea. And right beside us was a big ship. That was the anti-aircraft ship. I forgot the name of it. Big, gigantic ship. And we're looking at this thing. And they had coffee and donuts waiting for us. There was music. And we got on a bus. They took us, well, actually, I had to go to the draft board.
Right.
They gave me $250. And I was a civilian. It's so fast, I just can't tell you.
Just like that.
What a feeling it was to be a civilian. Got on a streetcar, went home. I didn't even tell my mother and father I was coming home. They're working, my mother's working, my brothers are all in school. And I walk into the house, the front door was open all the time.
Right.
In those days, there was no fear that someone was going to come and take your stuff out of your house.
Right.
So I came home, And all of a sudden, my mother comes home from lunch. She was working for Eastern Coat. She was a stitcher. And then she come home for lunch, and she saw me, and she went crazy.
Oh, I bet she did.
She wouldn't let me go. Let me go. And why didn't you tell us you're coming home? I said, I didn't have the time to do it. So to make a long story short, then my father came home, and then my brothers came home from school, and we had a great meeting together. Called my Aunt Mary and her kids. We all got together, and we were happy. I was happy I was home.
Oh, what a wonderful moment.
Yeah.
Wonderful moment. You come back. Now, people, our audience says, well, you were a pretty good ball player, and you get signed.
Here's what I did. I was 14 years old, and I was playing baseball. And I was playing for Watertown High School, and this scout scouted me, and he gave me his card. He said, if you come back, come and see me, because I want you to go spring training with the New York Giants. So I said, okay, and I had that card in my hand, and I can't remember his name. Would you believe that?
Oh, goodness.
Anyways, with all the excitement and everything like that.
Sure.
So anyways, he gives me money to take the bus to go to Lakewood, New Jersey. That's where they were going to have spring training, New York Giants. The New York Giants were playing in the Polo Grounds. At the time, Mellott was the manager. And I stayed there 30 days, and they said to me, we're going to send you up to St. Albans in the Northern League. And I thanked them a lot, and it was AAA. I went up to St. Albans, and I was a shortstop. I had a good arm.
Yeah, you had good hands too, didn't you?
I had a good arm. But here's what happened. We played 77 games, and I was a shortstop. And all of a sudden, I was traded to this team, and they wanted a third baseman because the third baseman broke his leg. So they changed me from a shortstop to a third baseman. And from that point on, I was a third baseman.
You were third base. Went as high as AAA, right?
And I signed, yeah, AAA.
AAA.
I was making $400 a month. They paid me $200 every other week.
Big money back then.
Oh, big time, big time, big time. And you know, Warren Spahn was playing for the Braves, and he was a 20-game winner, and he was making $10,000 a year. Would you believe that?
Wow.
$10,000 a year. In those days, $10,000 was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
But these are the guys that did things that caused these fellas to make this kind of money today.
That's right. That's right.
And it's only a boys' game.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
What was the old adage? They spawn insane and pray for rain.
That's exactly right.
But now you were also a graduate of Holy Cross, and you were a place kicker on their football. You played football there too, right?
I wasn't a place kicker. I was a drop kicker.
Drop kicker.
You didn't get that right.
That's exactly right. But the first time my mistake.
Here's the story. There was a sign put up. Anybody that could kick extra points, come and see me. At that time, the coach was the great Osmanski. I don't know if you remember him.
No.
Yeah, he was the one that was on the team that beat BC, and BC was going to Sugar Bowl, and that's when the fire started in Boston, where a lot of people got killed. About 250 people had passed on because of the fact that they were going to celebrate the fact that BC was going to win the game.
Right.
And anyways, I go up there and I start kicking the ball. And he said to me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to drop kick the ball. And he was an old-time guy that played for the Chicago Bears. And he was a dentist, retired dentist. And he said to me, go show me what you're going to do. So I dropped the ball down 10 times. I hit the ball right in the middle. He said, okay. He gave me a uniform. And the first game we played what was the name? Georgetown. And I had my uniform, I didn't have any pads, and before the game I practiced, you know how they practice before the game. I kicked the ball right up the middle all the time, drop kicked it. And all of a sudden, we score a touchdown. They send me out there to kick the ball. And the guy that was the center threw the ball a little bit to the right. I had to get myself together. I kind of hurried to kick. I kicked the ball, and it hit the uprights of the goal post. Instead of going that way, it came this way. And that was the end of the time that I was going to play football in Holy Cross. I was there only for one reason only,
Right.
to get the diploma.
Right.
And I wasn't the smartest guy in the world, but I did get my diploma.
That's the bottom line of the whole thing.
Bottom line.
You have a tremendous still from the last time we were together and wrapping things up here. You have a tremendous passion for your country. A true patriot, great American. You said to me at 94 years of age, if they asked you to go back in now, you'd go back in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No questions. We were a different type of people. We were the generation that I was in, we were patriots. There was nothing like Democrats and Republicans. We were just one team, and that one team was the one who was organized to beat the British military system, the Nazis, in the world. And here I am telling you the story. I can't believe it.
The greatest generation.
The greatest generation.
Time with you, my friend, is always well spent. Thank you so very, very, very much. We're in your home. Thank you for your hospitality. Most importantly, thank you for your service to our great country. It's an honor.
I really appreciate it.
It's an honor to know you.
It's a very, what was the thing that Eckers used to say? It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Javi Iardikian has been my guest here today, ladies and gentlemen. For Javi, I'm Wayne Soares. For Veteran Spotlight Special Moments, make it a great day.
I should have told you about my hat.
You know, I didn't. I was gonna, but I know we
You
were.
know, this hat is a medicine to me. And I'll tell you why it's a medicine to me. Every time I go out with this hat, because my son said to me one time when he gave me this hat.
For Christmas, right?
Chris.
Yeah. No. For Christmas.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
He said, wear that hat. Because I was going to go to Stop and Shop and do some shopping. I go into Stop and Shop. 4 people came up to me. Thank you for your service.
Oh yeah.
And I said, gee, thank you very much. And from now on, I wear this hat no matter where I go, very proudly.
Oh yeah, sure. Not too many of those around.